Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Shoutout channel. I'm Ron Swanson, and we're here to jump into these latest headlines about Virginia. There's a few other bits and bobs we're going to cover today, but this is the main one. And I'd planned on just doing a show today, going over, the theory that we had. You sort it out, Angie. Okay. You do it. You sort it. Happy 4th of July to all the Americans as well. Hope you're all having a fantastic start to your day. Now, Virginia, obviously, the crucial individual at the center of the Epstein situation, some allegations towards the royal family. And I just planned on going over the theory. Yeah, this sounds good now. Yeah, this sounds good now. But no, there was something wedged in the XLR cable, and it wasn't playing ball in the little socket. So it's all good now. So I planned on just doing a sort of recap on our theory because I don't understand how people are so. Oh, Sarah as well. Sorry, I missed your call. I was in the shower. Like, how can a case like this play out the way that it has? And everyone's just in the mainstream turning a blind eye to it. And yeah, so we're going to dive into it all. But I then found out that the wrong button. I then found out that her diary has sprung to light with a bunch of photos of her. And these photos are horrendous. Okay. The injuries, the bruising, all of it. But I can't explain what it is I'm looking at. Because when you bring up other pictures of Virginia, clearly ones that she's taken of herself or aren't necessarily from the press, there's a lot of differences in how the information the camera is picking up is being displayed. And it's been very, yeah, okay. So you can see the start of one of the images here. And there's just a lot going on here that is really odd. And yes, Lisa, I completely agree. So let's just scooch past this. Okay, photos sent by Virginia from her home at the Royal Perth, from her room at the Royal Perth Hospital, and shared with the outlet by Virginia's younger brother, Sky Roberts, showed horrible bruising and cuts to the 41-year-old's face. While Virginia was in recovery at RPH, Robert filed a restraining order against his wife, charging that she had physically assaulted him and that she was mentally unstable. Diary entries written by Virginia in January gave insight to her relationship with Robert, which she said deteriorated as she became world famous for taking down the royal family's Prince Andrew. He was showing unease in finding independence, Virginia wrote in a journal entry shared with the Times London. Give me a second. All right, we can show this one. So this is her husband here, Virginia with Robert, both 41, were separated, though still legally married at the time of her unaliving in March. Actually, hang on a second. Wait a second. That's a bit better. 1 second. Yeah, there we go. All right. So Instead of passing his wife's accomplishments, he began to be jealous, trying to make me stop advocating for victims. She wrote 3 months before she passed. Throughout this period, my commitment to Rob had never wavered, as he constantly accused me of being unfaithful almost on a daily basis. Robert's behavior became more controlling the stronger I became, the scarier he became, she wrote. In the recent journal entries, Virginia recounted that at the start of their marriage, things seemed fine on the surface, but Robert soon became controlling, started drinking at 8 a.m. every morning. Damn, that is some spring break freaking energy, and was consumed by energy. Elsewhere in the diary, Virginia claimed Robert was gambling away the millions of dollars she had won in settlements from the civil lawsuits against Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey, and obviously Prince Andrew and the bank JP Morgan. Virginia and Robert remained married, but were separated in 2024, with a California native moving to Nergaby in her husband's homeland, Australia. Robert remained in the family home, 30 miles away from Ocean Reef, Australia. She had become a spokesperson against this stuff on the screen and was able to build and fight for all other victims, but she wasn't able to do that battle, and she wasn't able to do that battle, and the one at home. Oh, she wasn't able to do that battle and the one at home at the same time. Okay, Amanda Roberts, the wife of Giuffre'S the wife of her brother said, God damn it, today is going to be one of those days. There is the man formerly known as Prince. The family believed that Virginia's shocking March 30th Instagram post, in which she claimed to only have days to live after being in a car accident, was a desperate plea for help and a way to reach her children. I reviewed the damage to Virginia's car just because I'm an insurance adjuster myself. I was curious, and it was very much damaged, Sky claimed, contrary to the statements of the driver of the vehicle on the school bus, who described the accident as minor. Now, we're going to go back into that. There are a very small number of people that know the overall scope of what happened, Sky told the London Times. You have people coming out, including my own dad, saying that somebody did this to her. It's insulting to me. Is it? Because who are you, love? Who are you? You're the wife of the brother, right? Who cares? Who gives a crap if you're insulted? Moron. Sky found his older sister unresponsive in their home on April 25th, breaking down her door and attempting to resuscitate her for 45 minutes prior to the arrival of EMF, the report stated. What? Like what? In the journal, the family found a final heartbreaking message to her children, Christian, Noah, and Emily. Every day that I don't see your faces has a little less light. Relatable. The world is dimmer without you in it. Also relatable. It'll all be all right. You'll always have a rainbow over your head, angels by your side, and God in your heart, she wrote. I'm here for you. I am here for you. I am here for you here and everywhere. Virginia's body was turned over to her husband, who had a small cremation, I bet he did, that her family was not invited to. Okay. Uber, I'm assuming you're having a small aneurysm in the side chat, right? Please like and share. It really helps. It would really help my little show if you could do that. What is going on here? What is all of this demonetizable craziness? Is that it? Is that it? Is it some absolute shank? Oh my God. Like, all these women are just dying, man. What is going on here? Hang on a second. One moment, please. Again, happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Also, I'm meant to be doing a live with Hard Target. It was meant to be last week. And then I spoke to him last week and he'd had major dental work done. He was off his nut. Right? Like full on, like gonzo. So I don't know if you remembered it was 4th of July this week. So I've got to give him a pass if he needs a pass this evening. Thank you, KLG. Thank you very much. Also, big shout out to Sky Spirit. She's doing live streams 3 times a week. I do believe they start at 10 o'clock or 10:30. So make sure if you're part of the community, you get involved with that. Now, let me just read this. So a lady called Kylie Page, who is an adult entertainer, who had just done a Netflix documentary, has been found unalived in her apartment now. Yet cause of death is still yet to be announced. God damn. Like, all right. So what did that tell us? That told us nothing. That was the babblings of the wife of a brother. And I'll be honest with you, the brother, like, there's been suspicious posts since the beginning of all of this. Now, I'm in touch with 2 people who were in direct communication, telephone, actual conversations with Virginia. And the last genuine proof of life I can find, I think, is last November. And yeah, we need our Nova news. Yeah, you'll get some Nova news. Don't worry. Like, I'm not buying any of this. The story that came out with the 70-year-old farm maid, farm handler, whatever the hell you want to call them, helping hand, I don't know, whatever. She was apparently hit by a bus at 110 kilometers an hour. Now, I don't know much about driving buses, right? But the amount of times where I've sort of felt a bus whiz past me at 100 miles an hour and turned and went, oh, that's awfully fast. Yes, there should still be members night. So I'll keep you all posted on that one. If members night isn't going to happen tonight, it will definitely happen tomorrow. I'm playing around with the days a little bit. She was a sick girl. See, Ed, here's the thing, right? And I'm not criticizing you, Ed, just so you know, but let's have a conversation. What makes you think that? And I'm not trying to put you on the spot. It's just, I think if you're going with the narrative that the media pushes out, you could definitely think that. But what was? Because I can't trust these sources, Ed. That's the problem. She was on medications and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it at all, bro. I'm just pressing for a little more information. I can't do members night at weekends. Oh, okay. Apologies about that. Yeah, no, it'll be back to during the week next week. So let's just have a little look at some timelines here. Because there's a lot of them. Because I mean, 25 years ago, this mess began for her, and 22 years later, she gets some sort of justice. Who was Virginia's husband? This guy, Robert something or other. Robert Giuffre. Where's the button? There it is. 100 kilometers an hour is 60. Yeah, still though, mate, a bus traveling at 60 mile an hour. That is rapido. Rapido. So we do have eyewitness testimony, which is kind of exciting. We do like eyewitness testimony. So let's go back to where this began. Virginia posts on Instagram that she's got days to live, posts that picture of herself where, quite frankly, she looks like her soul has left her body. And she announced she had a few days to live and all of this. And I think for a lot of people, they weren't having it. For a start, how, like, even if it was at 60 miles an hour, right? Who was it that posted that? Just so I can talk directly to you. Scott, right? Scott, if I travel it and it was 110 miles an hour, so let's say 68 miles an hour, right? Call it 70. Let's just round up. Call it, in fact, you know what? Call it 68. If I hit you side on, driver's side, and you're driving, and you're in a car, you're done. Like, you are done. You are like 1%, maybe. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to get to that, Scott. So the bus driver, after he'd seen Virginia's post on Instagram and there was all this kerfuffle in the news about it, he came forward and done an interview because he was worried that he was going to get pulled into some sort of insurance situation. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting, Scott. So bear with me here. So the bus driver in the crash that left Virginia Giuffre claiming that she had 4 days to live gives his side of the story and paints a very different picture to hers. This is where it gets interesting, Scott, right? So it was a school bus, like you said, and he was involved in a road crash. Now, I'll read the article, but the main points on this, Scott, are he's a former EMT, the driver, and I think we can all know that if you're in a sort of car collision, even if it's a minor thing, and you get out your car to assess damage, you are assessing how many people are in that car. Is there a car seat? Is there a dog? Is there a passenger? Like, what has happened? Oh my God, I hope everyone's okay. And that's from a normal driver's point of view. But an EMT is going to have this subconscious of checking for, it's the word I'm looking for, checking for injuries, checking for what the situation is. And he said categorically that there was one person in that car, an elderly lady, and the collision was so insignificant that they never even exchanged insurance information. She went on her way, he went on his. Now, this bus was full of school kids, who none of which reported trauma of a car accident. In fact, there was an interview, allegedly, with the family of one of the kids on the bus, and they were like, yeah, it was just Ron should get a perm. Ron would love that. Pam, I don't know if you know, but that, like, I've always I want a massive, big, massive afro. There you go. Thank you. Big boy terminology. Thank you. Or grown-up terminology, I should say. Damage assessment and priority. Thank you. Yes. Those are the words that my completely mulched up bag of sawdust for a brain was looking for. So we have the eyewitness testimony. And if we're going to go with the court rules of how much we listen to someone, oh God, I'm not on the camera. There we go. So for example, Scott, if this was a substance user driving a bus, the courts would probably be like, well, you're not a very good witness, right? You're not a very good witness. But this guy's an EMT. So using the courts, oh, Scott, you're starting to cook now, my G. Scott is he's whispering in those herbs and spices, and he's like, oh, we'll get to that. So there was definitely a bus crash, right? But it wasn't a crash. It was like the equivalent of you going 30 miles an hour, someone trying to turn a corner, you slamming on the brakes and it going bonk, right? Everyone was fine. Kids were all fine. There was no screaming, traumatizing emergency brakes and little Timmy's got launched down the bus. None of that. Then we have the added factor that the guy was a former EMT. And he's speaking out because he doesn't want the insurance side of things to get messy. And it kind of threw a spanner in this whole story. So let's read through his account and we're going to talk about it in just a minute. The school bus driver involved in the road crash, which allegedly left Virginia close to being unalived, has spoken for the first time about the incident. Ross Munns contradicted Virginia's account of the incident and insisted that the car was in a minor collision with the bus. In an exclusive interview with Online, he claimed the crash had been blown out of proportion and accused Virginia of exaggerating the severity of what happened. Virginia, who won a multi-million-pound payout from the man formerly known as Prince, after claiming she was moved around to have relations with him at the age of 17, told her Instagram followers on Sunday that she only had 4 days to live after suffering kidney failure in the crash. What? So now, Scott, I know what you're thinking. You're going to be like, so she's in hospital now and she's sending these messages out. Why? How could she possibly be in hospital? She wasn't in the crash. Eyewitness reports she wasn't in the crash. So that Instagram post and that time in hospital have nothing to do with a crash. Now, here's an interesting point, Scott. When you have the poster child for getting one over on the man, okay, the evil overlords of the world, he's the poster child. Now, if she's lying in a hospital bed, okay, because of her injuries that were sustained in this horrific car crash, Australia's a bit of a mad place. You know, there's the main cities, and then there's all these little towns that are out a little bit further away from the coasts. And all I'm saying is Australia, a lot of people, a lot of influencers, a lot of TikTokers, a lot of content creators, news outlets. Yeah? Not a single picture of that woman going in or coming out of hospital. Going in, very unlikely. But coming out of hospital, there was no one, no press, nothing. No sighting of her leaving. And then all of a sudden, Scott, we get one set of images of her in a car going to pick up animal feed from a farm shop, right? And that's it. Those were the only images. And you're just telling me, Scott, that just that one news reporter turned up, yeah? There was just the one paparazzi that got one set of photos, you know? It doesn't make sense. So we have to then assume, based off of logic, she was never in that hospital. That was fabricated. We then have to say, well, the crash happened, but it almost, Scott, feels like if you were to sit around and have a meeting where you needed to have a reportable incident take place, and you want it to be the least amount of car crash possible, right? Like you've had a heart attack, you're not allowed to eat salt anymore, so you're pure like, little one grainer, just the littlest amount. That's what we're referring to here. That is what we're referring to here. So the incident that she reported could not have possibly put her in hospital because she wasn't in the car. She wasn't seen in the hospital or leaving the hospital. We got this crazy set of photographs where if you want to play devil's advocate and say, well, hey, Ron, the driver was crazy, the kids were crazy, I believe she was there. So if you believe she was there and you believe those injuries that she's seen, those injuries that you've seen on her were from that incident, the photographs of her from about 4 or 5 days later going to get animal feed, she's completely healed. Okay? And I mean I have exorcised the demon. Like, healed. Okay. Interesting, right? Then, too interesting. But sadly, I don't think so. I don't think so. Why no picture of the car damage? Okay, dokely. So, Scott, we have heard nothing about this car. I do believe, hang on a second, there was something in this report that we just read. According to the report, family times in London, aggressive, hospital, voice, calm down, text. Australian order inside Giuffre. Sorry, I was pushing the wrong button to find things. Okay. Clean adjust diesel. I'm being hit by a car. Different. Okay, here we go. There we go, Scott. Right. So the family believe that Virginia's shocking March 30th Instagram post, in which she claimed to have just days to live after being in a car accident, was a desperate plea for help and a way to reach her children. I reviewed the damage to Virginia's car just because I'm an insurance adjuster. I was curious. It was very much damaged, Sky claimed. So she's a liar. Okay, either that, she's either a liar, or the car that she had seen had been further destroyed. But anything other than mild dings to that car, going by eyewitness testimony, had nothing to do with that crash. So if there was excessive damage to that car, it happened after the fact. After the fact. I mean, we can't argue with a former EMT, okay, a former EMT, eyewitness testimony of what happened. He was also the driver of the bus. Right? It sounds like a Wish product title. That's some broken English right there. So what? So then we get these photos of her going to the farm shop, right? And there just seems to be no conclusive explanation for any of this. And if there's lies at the start of this, it's all going to be lies. That it's easier to make up everything than some stuff. Do you know what I mean? Why can't you argue with a former no, so Heather, we're using the logic that if I'm assessing the witnesses based off of how the courts would. So a former policeman or EMT or fireman would be seen as a good, credible witness compared to, say, an alcoholic or a lowlife or whatever. So I did say that earlier. So I'm just using that logic to assess the validity of the people who've reported on this, if you see what I mean. That doesn't mean there's not some nasty EMTs. It just means that individuals of a profession of a certain stature seem to be favored as witnesses over other people. So I'm just using that mindset and applying that to the things that I'm reading, if that makes sense, Heather, just so you know. So, here's another one. A very small number of people that know the overall scope of what happened, Sky told the London Times. You have people coming out, including my own dad, saying that somebody did this to her, and it's insulting to me. Is it? I'm going to be honest. In fact, we'll watch it. We'll watch it in a little while. What the hell's his name? Piers Morgan had on Lady Victoria Harvey, who is the former lover of the man formerly known as Prince. Now, I can't begin to tell you how weird of a turn this is going to take. Because Paula M, oh yeah, GC, no, it wasn't taken down. It was meant to be pre-recorded. So Sean, I think Sean had set it up wrong, and it was set up as a live instead of a pre-recorded. So that should be out in a couple of weeks, I think. I cannot wait for that one, GC. So yeah, it kind of went live and then went off and then went off and then on again. So yeah, it will be back for me, don't worry. So we had Piers Morgan have Lady Victoria Harvey come on after the unaliving of Virginia. This is where we're going to get interesting, because Paula and I were chatting about Virginia and about some really interesting alleged legal documents from the Man on the Island case that have Meghan Markle's name on it, right? It's really odd. There's a lot of rumors about Meghan and the man formerly known as Prince. There's a lot of rumors about the Soho days for Meghan Markle. And there's really, really tight rumors that Meghan had been in touch with Virginia, right? The hell does that mean? Unconfirmed, I might add. Now, just put a pin in everything I just said until I get the documents and Paula and I do a show and go over this. Because she's got one theory and I've got another, and they're both bangers. Because I'll tell you now, Epstein, Virginia, any one of those girls, okay, is just a loose end. Even Epstein, a total loose end. And I've always said, and the sad thing is, when I found out, when we first seen that Instagram post about Virginia, the first thing out of my mouth is, when was the last proof of life we had of this woman? When was the last time someone sat on a video call or a voice call with this woman? When was she last seen on live TV or a live stream? When we cannot include text communication, Instagram posts, photos, videos that haven't got a live stream attached to them. So, for example, a live news interview or a live stream. In fact, just on national news. If it had been on national news, we could take that as proof of life. I ain't got nothing since about November, October time last year. And that is the same time that my contacts lost communications with Victoria, with Virginia. Now, as far as loose ends go, people often talk about buyouts, people being paid off. Michelle, very astute point. But that is the happy side of the criminal world. If someone turns around to you and says, here's £5 million to shut up, you are an orphan with no children if that happens. All right? Because if I'm a psychotic prince from an oil-rich nation and I've got one of my Birkin girls, I should say. I'll check in a minute for you. Uber, 1 second. That's a major loose end. A major loose end. And if she's got children, why would you pay her off? Why would you pay her off? You would say, hand yourself into us so we can do what we want to do to you, or we'll bring your kids in and do it to them. That's just the smart move. That's just the smart move from the criminal underworld. It's cheaper. There's no paper trails. People have nowhere to go. They feel cornered. But wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if Meghan Markle has a part to play in all this? She's a loose end as well, right? A loose end that would almost do anything to stay in the public light. Safer in the public light, right? It's real dark and twisted, man. So, also as well, big shout out to everybody that is here. Almost 800 across all platforms. What is happening? Big shout out to Twitter. Big shout out to the 4 people on Facebook, baby. Yes, bro fist to the Facebook crew. So let's see if we can find anything from Virginia's diaries, right? Because that was the big release, was Virginia's diaries and these images. Now, wait. Now, I would like to show parts of this image without being demonetized. Yeah, let's maybe try here. So, if anyone knows how consistency with colors and sharpness and the way that digital photography interprets information, okay, it tends to be consistent throughout the image. Okay, which means if you've taken your photograph on a Nokia 32 potato, the image will look consistently throughout the image like it's been taken on a potato. Now, do you see here? No, you don't. This patch here, everything that's going on under this chin here, all of this coloration here, and the absolute defragmentation and pixelation of the cheek here. Like, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this looks like it was made in Minecraft to me. I'm not doubting the legitimacy of her injuries or the horrificness that she went through. But it doesn't mean what I'm looking at here is a real image. It could be. I'm just zooming in on some more parts here for you. Now, do you see the black line? You see this black line around here, and the iris, and the eyelid, and the lower eyelid, and then how completely different the color formations. We've gone into a pixelated area. It's really odd. It's really, really odd. It could be nothing. It could be something. All right. I've not had, in fact, you know what? Let's do that now. Let's stick it in the old Photoshop and see if we get any alarm bells ringing off this. So, again, it could be the hospital fluorescent lights. It could be a lot of things that make what we're seeing here. I'm not discrediting the image. It's just better to sort of pick holes and stuff. Princess Diana all over again. I think very possibly, William. Very possibly. Is Ryan Dawson ever going to come back? I think so. Is Ryan okay? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. Big John. Unless you know something that I don't, mate. But I imagine so. Him and Sean are pretty pretty good mates. All right. So we have the image, and it's uploaded at 2000 by 2,500 pixels as an aspect ratio. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show a little bit. What is that? They've changed all of the interface, okay, in StreamYard, the thing that I'm using. And I'm very aware that the red button will cancel the stream, and it's now been moved to being right next to all the other buttons. Yeah, I imagine he's still got his Rumble, Maggie. All right, here we go. All right, so did Sky apparently done CPR himself, mate? Yeah. We'll go back and we'll read it again, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said. So first thing I want to do is look at the blacks and how things are colorizing. So we're up in the black. And really what we're doing is trying to look for, because you got to remember as well, our skin's going to be shades of yellow, green, purple, brown. Like bruising is pretty multicolored. See, all of this. Okay, 1 second. So some of that popping that's happening on our cheek could be the fluorescent lights. Yeah. Well, what they're claiming this is, Uber, is the photographs that Virginia put herself into her diary documenting the abuse that took place allegedly by her husband. So, in fact, do you know what? Where's Discord? Let me post this in Discord and you can all have a look at this. That from the Sun. Do you mean the newspaper, bro? Or are you asking if she stood outside? Newspaper, or is she outside? And also, the actual image looks. This is me playing around with it. So this is the original image. This is what happens when you up all the blacks in it. And I was just upping all the whites, as you can see here, to see where we get. Okay. Yeah, join the Discord, guys. Join the Discord. I'm going to throw this image into the Gen chat. So just give me a second. Oh, wait. No, I need to save the image first. Dumbass. One moment, please. All right. Yeah, there we go. In Discord is the image that I'm currently looking at. And what I actually want to do, 1 second. Let's go over here. So this is our other eye. Yeah. One moment, please. What a legend. She says hi to everybody, by the way. And there's apparently a large Tommy Robinson march happening somewhere in the UK round about the same time of her court date. A little rude. Get out of my chat. Get out of here. Get out of here, freaking moron. So, yeah, I think there could be potential for a bit of a rally and for the Julia supporters to kind of tag along with that. We'll keep you all posted, but that was just her little thought there. So, right. Okay, we've got that noted. Now, so where was I? Oh, hang on a second. Obviously had sun marks on her chest. Okay, do you mean like tan marks? Like a little bit of tanning or a bit of like sunburn? Is that what you mean? Because yeah, I mean I can see what I can kind of see that. Just odd, bro. Just odd. Now, 30th of September. So when we found out this post that happened from Virginia, the one about the bus crash, I said, she is gone. She is gone. She's going to turn up in a couple of weeks unalived. And in 2025, you cannot just eliminate somebody with food poisoning anymore. You have got to destroy them. And then they unalive themselves. Because, thank you, GC. No, when you go into the sun, it messes your skin up, but can only see under certain light. Okay, yes, okay. And so I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. I think it's like when it's the same thing that when like you see a show about like a sunbed obsessed family and they show the damage to the skin with the other light shade. Is that what you're talking about? Because that is what I think you're talking about. And if that's what you're talking about, then I know what you're talking about. Jesus. Also, please like and share. Push this out for me. So I said that we're going to see the questioning of her mental state. Well, I mean, hang on. I'm 30 minutes behind, but these people specifically target mentally ill or poor shitty people. It makes it easy out and easier victim. Of course, she had mental issues. Of course, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not putting aside that she had mental issues. I've got mental issues, right? Like I think we all have, but I think having mental issues and then unaliving yourself when you are the pinnacle of hope for so many survivors. There's this mentality in survivors where they will live to fight for others more than to fight for themselves. And I just can't see her doing that. Sean is where is Sean? I don't know where Sean is today. He'll be doing something. But I've got an awesome interview at 6:00 tonight with the former FBI Marine Special Forces head of staff for drone warfare, counter drone. I can't remember what it is. Let me look up. It's Rob D'Amico. Yeah, Rob D'Amico, former FBI, former Marine, and the actual title is. What was that? But this is going to be a kick-ass interview. It's tonight at 6:00. I'm going to ping you a shareable link. You will get moved over to that show after this show, but it's going to be a banger. Oh, thank you, Uber. Thank you, Uber. That's what that was. Thank you so much, mate. That's really kind of you. Let me just replay that. Little nugget of goodness. Oh, it's not sure. It's not. I don't know what's going on at my end with this freaking technology, but Uber, I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you. So you got to destroy her legacy before she unalives herself. You then need to continue the systematic destruction of everything that put her on a pedestal. Okay? Now, Ron, the last two. Oh, okay. Thank you, Fifi. Thank you. So it's funny because Barbarians half an hour in the past watching the show. So he's given some great points on things that we're not actually talking about right now. Great to see you. Great to see you. Like, don't get me wrong. I know stories of women who've had their children taken from them, been given gag orders so that they can't talk to them, and the children have been handed over to very abusive members of the family, whether it's the father or the boyfriend or the stepdad. And these women, one in particular, it all got too much for her, having no hope to see your kids. And her answer to her suffering was to douse herself in petrol and set herself on fire at a beach. Now, just try and get your head around that. Oh, thank you very much, KLG. Thank you very, very much. I need to move that little box. But other than that, thank you so much. I don't know why I'm not getting updates for this on my little screen here. Thanks. Let me just move this little alert box, though. It's a bit in my face. And for someone to do that, okay, that's a lot more than taking your own life. Okay. There are ways of doing things, okay, that send a statement, There are ways of doing things painlessly, calmly. But when you douse yourself in something and set yourself on fire, the desperation of that woman is so apparent. And you're going to see a lot more of these stories from a lot more of these women, because what we're uncovering with this story is a systematic, a system in the UK where you've got private facilities that care for children bidding on autistic and non-autistic children who've been removed from the mother. And then all these private places bid on the kids, and the highest bidder wins. Like, this is all facts that you're going to learn. And big shout out to Victoria, who's one of these mothers, and we'll be explaining it all. Now, the reason I mention that is, of course, when people lose hope. And this woman who did that hadn't seen her child in years. You know? Years. I just can't see Virginia doing it. I also can't see a narrative that's already held together on lies having any legs to stand on in this story. Because we know that the report from the driver is false. We know that the images that apparently were her going to buy animal feed or whatever it was from the farm shop didn't show any injuries whatsoever. Oh, Tracy, wait, it's going to get real bad, Tracy. It's going to get real bad. We're actually going to be changing. We're trying to be pushing for new legislation that removes the gag orders from all these mothers. Because if there's nothing suspicious going on with the government and these kids, why are mothers being put in jail for 3 to 5 years for talking about it? One mother was jailed for 3 years for bumping into their child in a shop. Nothing suspicious there. So, Virginia, this story, this nonsense, this narrative. Now that they've gotten rid of her, they've laid the foundations for the destruction of her credibility before she dies. And she's now a beaten, battered wife who is so mentally unhinged that she has no contact with her children. So you can see where the breakdown of this woman, her narrative, everything has started to shape. Then we get the announcement of her self-unaliving. Then the next phase of the plan kicks in. And the next phase of the plan is to completely destroy the legacy that was her foundation. Okay? And what was her legacy? Her foundation. It was the photographs of her. This photograph right here. One second. This image here. So you've got Piers Morgan, who brings on Lady Victoria Harvey, ex-lover of the man formerly known as Prince, standing right here. And she's sitting there with her little print-offs and her scissors and her sellotape and her behind the scenes. She managed to go and view the Epstein house. She managed to go inside that house because apparently it's up for rent. And she decided to go and view it, got a little bit of video footage and says, none of this could possibly be real. I've done many episodes on this on my channel. And one of those episodes, we watch the Piers Morgan show, and I take all of the images from that show and completely debunk what she's saying live. Let me see if I can find that, actually, because that would be quite handy. 1 second. And then we're going to go into the Piers Morgan interview because I need you all to see something. Also, I'm 225 subscribers off 15K. If you guys could help me get to that all elusive 15K, I would really appreciate it. Now, we're also titling 1 million here, baby. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be this year. It's going to be this year. So 1 second, my lovelies. There we go. All right. All right. So we have got, which one is it? I'm going to see, because I mean, there's a lot. It could be this one. It could be this one. Credibility. Okay, let's have a look. Because it's the one. Okay, so here are the images of her after. This is apparently her after she's been released from hospital. After being hit by a bus and has 4 days to live. Yeah. Okay, sure. PDFs have been out of control since the caveman era, bro. You know, it's only legislation, laws, and you know, public view and scrutiny of this that's changed over the years. It's always been a factor, man. It sucks. Okay, so very suspicious, obviously. Now, does that look like someone that was in a major bus accident, has 4 days to live, and, you know, I'm just not seeing it. Now, that's not the episode I thought, so bear with me. Virginia, no injuries. What really happened? Husband attack, released from hospital, alive and well, bus crash credibility. Is it credibility destroyed? I'll be very upset if I can't find this episode. I don't think I have it anymore. Oh, no. Maybe that was one that got nuked on Sean's channel. Okay, just bear with me. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. All right, annoying. So we're going to jump into the Piers Morgan interview. Which is this one here.
Whole story. She had to go through it again and again and again because.
All right, so here is the panel that we begin with. All right, we've got Piers, we've got Lady Victoria Harvey, we've got gentleman number 1, lady number 1, and gentleman number 2. Oh, ChatGPT, oh, Georgie. So here's what ChatGPT. This since you asked, Georgie, since you asked. Here is ChatGPT's response to me asking about the bus crash. So here's the first response from ChatGPT. Here we go. So, yeah, interesting one. I did then ask it to specifically look up the driver's account, quoting the newspaper in which I'd read it, and it did find it. So, here is the panel.
Been resolutely pro Prince Andrew for a long time. In this,
like, the only reason I'm showing this, you've got to convince the public that she's unstable. Then you have to unalive her. Then you have to destroy the credibility or the narrative that made her. Okay? Because all you have to do is convince more people than you haven't convinced through passive headline consumption that this lady was crazy, unalived herself, and no one should listen to her. And headlines, when you're doing the doom scrolling, okay, and we've got a whole generation that read a headline and that's all, it's a powerful weaponized tool for shifting and changing public narratives and thought processes, especially on conspiratorial or cases where clearly there's more going on than we think. So let's hear what the lady herself has to say.
Scandal.
I have, because, you know, so it's been about 3.5 years when I actually really started, like, really investigating, I suppose. And the things that I found out, obviously, like a lot of people that reached out to me from very close circles to Virginia and some of the other girls, they were giving me information because they saw me as someone that could actually bring the information out. The things that I want to concentrate, well, firstly, that, you know, it's a horrible end what happened to Virginia.
Well, let me pick you up on that, you know, before we get into the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I was shocked. I mean, you did 2 posts about Virginia Giuffre, one before she died, after she had this supposed accident, which is still very murky about.
Oh, you mean, yeah, but I did a lot of stories.
Well, hang on.
On the main post.
You posted an image of her smiling with the caption, "What is karma?" After Virginia Giuffre shared a selfie lying on a hospital bed following what she said was this horror.
So this is karma about a woman who has allegedly been hit by a bus. Now, who does that? I'd like to just skip to this section.
Tariffs to market turmoil, things are looking pretty rough out there. Well, our sponsor, American Hearts and Goals, has...
I just want to set the scene for what happened on this night. So it was actually the coldest week since the 1960s at that.
Wow. How relevant is that, baby? It was the coldest week since the 90s. That sounds like the beginning of a folk tale. It was the coldest week in the history of these lands. Our intrepid adventurers.
Point. It had been raining all day. You can look this up in the weather. Freezing. That window. The window was.
You can look up on the weather, guys.
Like, that window would never have been open. Number one.
The window would never have been open. Wow. Wow. Because of how the weather was, that window would never been open. All right. Fair enough. I mean, this is pre-vaping era. Do you know what I'm saying? So parties, shenanigans, I imagine, you know, elite freaking orgy parties are going to have some people who partake in some nicotine. Maybe that's the case. You know, maybe someone had just been thrown out of it. Who knows?
One, they would not have been wearing the.
Maybe that's how they got the young ladies in the building. Cheeky ladder, up the back steps. Let's go.
His clothing. She wears this outfit in Saint-Tropez a couple months later. They were not at Tramp nightclub. There were no photos of them at Tramp nightclub. He doesn't drink. Andrew has never carried a wallet in his life. He's got a wallet in his back.
This is, I mean, have any of you ever encountered a psycho ex-girlfriend that just won't let go? Right? And not like the one that just wants to destroy you, but one that will quite happily go on the internet to the Piers Morgan show and make a statement like, guy doesn't carry a wallet. Hey, he doesn't sweat either.
Back pocket. There's many pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with the same trousers. Jeffrey did carry a big wallet in his back pocket.
So you're saying the picture was faked?
There's nothing real about this image, Piers. Like, so We can start with when I did go into the house.
So tell me, so when did you first go into this property?
A year ago.
And how did you get access?
I posed as a buyer.
So
I posed as a buyer.
Selling it?
Yeah.
Who owns this property?
Now it's on the market, but it wasn't on the market.
But who is
at
the
that
owner
point.
now? I mean,
I don't know.
Has it changed hands a few times? Do we know the...
What year is this? This is 2 months ago. Just so you know, this is 2 months ago.
No, so
This is right after her passing, right? I mean, this was a couple of weeks, if that, I think. Maybe not even that.
it was sold. It was only sold once. And
Here's her investigation.
he's now actually got it on the market.
Okay, so we're watching footage of you. You went in with a friend, I think. And
Also, if you're watching on my channel and you remember, please come and get some sleepy steeples in the side chat.
this is you walking through the house. Now, what is the significance of what you think you discovered on this trip? Because you've been in there twice.
You're going to see this landing, which I got photos of, but that's the landing. Like it's so small, Piers, that you don't. You know, if people would actually be able to get access to that house, literally, I walked up the stairs and we couldn't even find this landing because.
No, you absolutely could find the landing, you absolute fucking woman. Like, you couldn't find the landing, mate.
You've been in there.
I tell you what you couldn't find, okay? I tell you what you couldn't find. Picture hooks, okay? I could believe.
Who owns this property?
Now it's on the market, but it wasn't on the market.
But who is the owner now? I mean,
I don't know.
Has it changed hands a few times? Do we know the?
No, so it was sold. It was only sold once, and he's now actually got it on the market.
Okay, so we're watching footage.
You could not find this landing. The one with the vastly illuminated bathroom. The one with the shelves. It's so tiny, guys, that climbing up the direct route, going up these stairs, only leads to this landing. Okay?
Friend, I think, and this is you walking through the house. Now, what is the significance of what you think you discovered on this trip? Because you've been in there.
Even Tracy knows. Okay, even Tracy is like, well, where were they going? Is it one of those paintings, Tracy? You know those paintings? You know those ones I'm talking about with the staircases that are upside down in that? I'm sure you know the name of the artist. I don't. I'm uncultured. But look, all I'm saying is, if you couldn't find a picture hook, I would believe that.
Twice.
You're going to see this landing, which I got photos of, but that's the landing. Like it's so small, Piers.
I'm not going to lie, Biz. I kind of want some of that jam. Like, I really do. Like, I understand. I'm not saying you're wrong, but man, I would have bought some of that jam last night if it was in stock, just so I could talk about it.
Is that you don't, you know, if people would actually be able to get access to that house, literally, I walked up the stairs and we couldn't even find this landing because it's so tiny. Like, you walk up.
Yeah, man. I mean, look how tiny this is.
I was with two people.
Look at how
I was
tiny.
with a photographer friend and another person.
Can you imagine, right? Getting asked for a size reference and you would describe that landing as tiny. It doesn't make any sense.
And I've known the photographer for 30 years. We did a shoot together when I was about 18. And he's kind of helped me on this project a bit over the last 2 years, doing some interviews and things with witnesses.
I will do it though, Nikki. Okay, I will. I'm not forgotten.
When we got up there, it was like this bit here. So he is only 5 foot.
So we're showing pictures here. This is one of your.
He's only 5'8".
Friends.
Yeah.
Who is standing where Andrew?
Yeah, so he's standing.
What's the point you're making?
I'm
there?
showing the scale. So he's 5'8", 5'9" at tallest with spiky hair, and he doesn't have a gap between him and the banister like Andrew does.
Oh my God! Are you for real?
Yeah.
Who is standing where?
So there's not a gap. Can anyone spot the jokeable thing that is covering up our gap? I'll give you an arm. I'll give you a clue. It's an arm. So if he was standing sideways,
Andrew.
Yes.
Like Andrew's doing, there would be a gap there, but his arm is there. Do you see what? So if we just slice off his arm, there's a gap.
So
he's standing. What's the point you're making?
I'm
there?
showing the scale. So he's 5'8", 5'9" at tallest with spiky hair,
if you're going to put all of this time and effort, right, into replicating an image like this, and you're having him stand in the same position, put his arm out as if he's got our arm around someone, then you would put the arm in the same place, the other arm in the same place too. All right. Yes, Darren, exactly.
And he doesn't have a gap between him and the banister like Andrew does. It's like, okay, he's not totally on the side, but he's a lot smaller guy than Andrew. You can't fit a man like Andrew and half of Virginia in that space. It's just not possible. Like,
it's just not possible, guys.
this bit here is it's only.
So that's the camera.
So,
oh, do you know what's so funny, right? I grew up in the 80s, and like my mum worked in window dressing and done shop windows for years. She was award winning at it, believe it or not. And this is the generation of, if you were going to make a poster, you cut stuff out, you layer it, and then you photocopy it, right? It's like back in the era of like every album cover and movie cover was hand drawn. It was like that era. You're about to see a throwback to that era right now.
This banister here.
Camera 3.
This is
whipping out the printouts, baby.
This is 60 centimeters. Only.
What is 60 centimeters? The banister, the width between the banister, the wall here and the wall here. What is she talking about?
Do you know what 60 centimeters if we had a measuring tape to show you how small that is? I mean,
so let me ask you a question.
They're basically making him out like he's anorexic.
Okay, look,
like, I couldn't fit in there with another.
Oh, this woman, right, is the greatest, right? And for all the wrong reasons, obviously. I mean, oh, can I just push this and go back? Yes, I can.
They're basically making him out like he's anorexic.
Okay, look,
like, I couldn't fit in there with another girl.
At the very least, this is actually interesting because I've never seen independent pictures taken of this area.
No one has seen this picture, by the way.
Which is very interesting, right?
Yeah.
So my question for you is,
no one's seen that picture, by the way. Genuinely looks like the picture the guy who's renting the house out had put on the website to advertise the house being rented. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's a very nicely taken photo that you would imagine would fit that very.
You say it's very easy to at least cast a lot of doubt over this picture, which was the key crux of the evidence against Andrew. Why did Andrew end up paying a reported $11 million?
Well, he didn't have these pictures, did he? Until like
yeah, but he could
look at this is one of my favorite bits, right? Look at this smile on her face where she's like, well, he obviously didn't have the photographs, did he? Just look at that. And then look at this guy's face. He looks like he's bitten into a lemon. He looks like the cat that got the cream. I'm going to put it back 10 seconds. We're going to play through this. And I want you to watch her mannerisms with the paper. Some people find comfort in giving the impression that they're organizing chaos. Okay. It's meant to showcase that they are in control of a situation. It's prevalent here.
$11 million.
Well, he didn't have these pictures, did he? Until like,
yeah, but he could have got them, surely.
You know what? I think he was given really.
Don't worry, it's not like later in the interview she's going to blame all this on the Israelis. Okay, so don't worry about that.
Really bad advice. So this shows the measurements.
So that's the camera again.
So actually, like when you zoom in on that, you can actually zoom in, and it's 61 inches. All the way across. Now that corroborates the information we got on video when we measured. We have the same basically.
So your overview is what? Is that
my overview is that this is a collage. Also Virginia says that
a collage, like I was saying, the 80s version of making a picture, cutting it out, sticking it on, photocopy that bad boy.
Of the photo. She says the photo was done with a throwaway camera. Now, a throwaway camera back in 2001 cannot.
Wait a second. Very easy to find out what a throwaway camera in 2001 looked like. Okay, so throwaway camera in 2001. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, classics. Classics. We've all seen these. Yeah. You know? Various formats. We had the cardboard ones. But I will say, this is the sort of super basic one that we all remember. The first sort of cardboard camera. And then they did move up into these more chunky plastic versions. Absolutely would not get away with this level of just one-use plastic in this day and age. But you can see there's a big difference between the cardboard ones and these plastic ones. And I'm not saying they're the greatest cameras ever, but they're not terrible photographs, you know? They really weren't. They really, really weren't.
Do this perfect symmetrical, like
this perfect symmetrical. What is she talking about?
Also, Virginia says that this part of the photo, she says the photo was done with a throwaway camera. Now, a throwaway camera back in 2001
was a highly sophisticated piece of cardboard or plastic.
Cannot do this perfect symmetrical, like
no, that was a rectangle. No, what is that? A camera cannot take a photograph that's a rectangle. What has she been on?
Also,
correct,
the flash in the background.
Actually, Darren, kind of, right? That last word you've used is a bit of a generic terminology for very, very old, horrible things that predate the concept of the Christian devil and all of that. It's a very, very dark, but sadly a topic I'm pretty well versed in. So you're not wrong in the slightest, mate, but it's a lot darker and worse and older than you think. It really is. It really is, mate. Yeah.
That is
She's not been smoking the funny stuff. If she'd been smoking the funny stuff, she'd be like, I don't know if I believe what I'm saying right now.
actually thought to be the light from the pub outside, but this is a collage. So it
McElwain, Mr. McElwain, exactly.
Was this frame, and then they were collaged and basically put in, but their scale is about
okay. Does Prince Andrew know you've got this?
He knows that. Well, I speak to his ex-wife.
Sarah Ferguson.
Yeah, and
you told her about these pictures.
Fergie, as our wonderful Mr. Steeples would say.
She knows that I got into the house.
So Andrew knows that you've been in the house?
I suspect so.
And do they share your view that they think this is materially interesting evidence that may support his version? I think
anyone that sees this would think this is pretty interesting.
No one that's seen this thought that was interesting. The most interesting thing about your part of your interview are the faces that you pull. I'm not going to lie. You look like someone who's been fish hooked, and there's just someone behind you pulling this face, doing all this madness. So like and share, if you don't mind. I know you hear me say it. If we could try and get another 100 people through the door on this show, we will break 1,000 live viewers across all platforms, which would make Ronald a happy Ronald. Okay. Also, I think the start time is going to be closer at 12:30 and 1 every day. That seems to be the better time slot. So, what have we learned so far from Lady Victoria? Apparently, the photograph was a collage, okay? A collage of images. It's crazy. And just what Carpenter said, 100% throwaway cameras at weddings. Each cable would get one, and they would turn into beautiful memories. Exactly. They were so well put together. Weddings, do you know how psycho some people are about weddings, right? Do you know, there's so many things that I didn't know about until I started looking into weddings, like centerpieces. What? Like little bags of gifts in that. What is going on? So we've got this woman with her print-offs, and she's making this declaration, right? Let's continue.
Before I go to Maureen, what's your immediate reaction?
Well, the point is, where did these photographs originally come from? And as I recall, It was a.
I want to just start this again. I need you to observe the nervousness and the constant reaching for her evidence. As long as she's in contact with it, she knows she's safe. She knows the narrative she's pushing. We're also going to start now observing her attitude towards this guest.
Where did these photographs originally come from? And as I recall, it was a Daily Mail journalist who found.
No. I got given these. Hold on. Oh, well,
No,
these are my photos.
You mean the original picture?
Oh, okay. So this is the other thing, right? So Virginia's photo. It was actually verified that actually the FBI never received a hard copy. They only got a copy put on a disc, so they never got to see the back of it.
Okay, Tom, do you just as a journalist, do you find this intriguing?
They never got to see the back of it.
Do you find it incredible?
As I understand the story, the original photograph.
They would have really short legs. They would have no legs.
You can mock up your photographs too. The point is that photographs clearly can be mocked up. The point
This is not. This is real. This girl's like 5'2".
Let Tom finish.
Yeah.
She had the photograph and she gave it to the journalist unsolicited. The journalist turned up at her door. It wasn't an FBI source. It was her photograph. And I believe it to be true. I don't believe.
It's sweet. It's sweet that you believe.
I believe it because I just don't see who would have the motive to construct.
That's what we all want to know.
Okay,
well, you want to know because you don't believe it's true. I don't want to know because I just don't believe that there's anyone.
I want to know who put Giuffre up
someone
to
else. Let me just speak 1 second.
Sorry.
There's nobody who has the motive, in my view, to originally put in these three people as a collage. Because what would be the purpose?
Also, her lawyer, David Boyd, said he was skeptical when he first met her, just because he's a lawyer and always is.
Sorry, Nobby Noble just totally quested my brain there. Yeah, she's got that kind of she's got one preference over another from which side that she may.
But he made her take a polygraph and she passed with flying colours.
Well, that possibly.
That's what he said.
But that is also possible because she's gone through so much trauma.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so it's possible that she done a polygraph test, right? I'm gonna have to stand up for this. This is a whole level of incompetence that I can't deal with sitting down. So you just need to give me a sec. All right. This I need to sort my hair as well. This is God damn it. I will say though, the hair is fabulous. I'm a fan of my hair today. Yesterday, it was a mess. Right. And all those people that hate me talking about my hair, suck your mum. Like, I'm not even a little bit, like proper get chomping. All right. So we need to go back and we need to listen to what drivel that was.
But that is also possible because she's gone through so much trauma.
Okay, all right.
So she managed to pass a polygraph. She managed to pass a polygraph because of how much trauma. And why is the trauma there? Wait for it. I think possibly, Lady Harvey, the trauma's there from allegedly your ex-boyfriend and his... 1 second, everybody. Excuse me. I do apologize. So why would the trauma be there?
Let me bring in the others. Maureen Callan, what's your reaction to this? I mean, this is a story that is, because of the nature of Virginia Giuffre'S tragic suicide, this is not going to go away, the speculation around all this. Do you believe Virginia Giuffre? I mean, her own testimony against other men was questioned. You know, Alan Dershowitz, the American lawyer, challenged her and got her to admit that she was mistaken in identifying him as one of the people that abused her, which seems not irrelevant to all this. But where do you sit with Virginia Giuffre in totality here?
Yeah, I believe her when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. That was an incredibly rich, powerful, connected man who could have had her harmed. So the danger to her far outweighed, you know, the price of staying quiet. But to this new theory, Piers, that your guest is promulgating, and the moon landing was staged, and the Hunter Biden laptop is a fake.
I mean, terrible examples, but I get where she's going with this. Now, we need to hear again from Lady Harvey. I do believe it's about around about here.
That there was evidence that he was not only in the photograph, but he was also on Jeffrey Epstein's private island. How about that? Where's the proof that he wasn't on the private island with naked women, young girls? Where's the proof that he wasn't in the Manhattan home with one of my clients for...
Every time she's questioned, she shuts down, goes back to looking at the photographs and starts moving them around with her hands. As long as she can look at the narrative she's created, she is blocking out everything.
Party at that home after Jeffrey Epstein had already been admittedly a pedophile and caught and placed in jail. Where is that evidence?
I think we need to remember the things that Virginia put in her original little book, and then she said, oh, they're not true. So remember Virginia's story about the ranch with Andrew. She went into explicit detail talking about going horse riding. The thing about Virginia, it's not like a small story. It's a very elaborate story. And then she basically admitted.
Yeah, international transportation gangs involving elites, princes, royal families, politicians, celebrities, actors, musicians are very complex. Okay, that's how they stay hidden. That's how a man was able, with convictions against children, to disappear to an island and set up a living hell for those who stepped into that trap.
Said under oath that actually she made that up. So
look, I know that you want to defend your royal friend. I get that, but the reality
I'm bringing out the truth.
He was around a pedophile who was raping young girls. And regardless of whether or not the photo is fake or not, he has a bad choice in friends.
Yeah, but it's
very bad.
It's not regardless if the photo is real or not, because that's the only thing that they're trying to pin on him. Like,
no, it's not. The FBI had evidence.
He stayed with Epstein for ages.
Just because you stay with someone doesn't mean it.
Just because you stay with someone doesn't mean anything, guys. Listen, right? If your mate goes to court, okay, and gets done, let's find out what those charges were. Let's just. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay, 1 second. Corruption, financial mismanagement, media activities, liquid funding, investments, startup, video recordings, legal issues, first criminal case, 2005-2011. A woman contacted from the Palm Beach Department and alleged that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's house by an older girl. While there, she allegedly paid $300 to strip and massage Jeffrey. She had allegedly undressed, but left the encounter wearing her underwear. Palm Beach police began a 13-month undercover investigation into Epstein, including the search of his home. During the investigation in Palm Beach, Police Chief Michael Reiter publicly accused the Palm Beach County State Prosecutor Barry Christchurch of being too lenient and called for help from the FBI. Non-prosecution agreement, conviction and sentencing. On June 30th, 2008, Epstein pled guilty to the state charge of procuring for Schmoshta Schmushman, a girl below the age of 18, and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Hey, listen, if you're going to get 18 months for transporting for the reason of Schmoshta Schmushman and get 18 months, that Diddy case ain't going to be looking too good right about now, right? Right? Those are all fully grown women. Fully grown women in that case. Some of which who sent text messages saying, can't wait for the next Diddy Fest, baby. Baby! It's crazy. So let's go back now to Crazy Biatch.
Him for 4 days in Manhattan with a lot of women coming and going after.
Those pictures.
Wait a minute. After Epstein was a convicted paedophile,
Correct.
as Spencer
Correct.
just said, right?
Correct.
Years afterwards.
Correct.
So he was a convicted paedophile, and Prince Andrew,
Oh man, they've got to stop saying. You need to start saying PDF file. They're ruining all of this.
for reasons that remain completely inexplicable, and which he couldn't explain to Emily Maitlis in that infamous Newsnight interview for the BBC, he flew to New York. He was seen in Central Park,
That was such a
walking
setup.
with his mate.
That
He
was
spent
a
4
setup.
days at Epstein's house.
No, I believe
Women
that's
were
the
seen
setup.
coming and going the entire time,
Yeah.
and he knew by then that his great buddy was a convicted
By
paedophile.
the way, so those photos of the girls coming out the house, now, they didn't come out for many, many years. So I don't even believe they were during that time.
Do you
'Cause if-
believe anything that incriminates Andrew or not?
a lot of the girls
who is the
did
great
not tell the
conspirator?
truth.
Who is the great conspirator? Who's organising
Nonsense.
this conspiracy of yours?
It's the
Oh, wait. This is the bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all better brace. Y'all better brace for the truth right now. If it wasn't Prince Andrew and it wasn't Epstein, all of this is a conspiracy. Who is behind it?
So who's organising this conspiracy of yours?
it's the intelligence 3-letter word agencies that are wrapped up in this that I'm not going to go into right now because I would rather stay alive. But what I'm saying is,
Do you not, Victoria, do you not have any qualms about
Gets better.
Virginia's family hearing you just dismiss everything
oh no, I think
her as
I think
fake
Robert
and fraudulent?
Giuffre would agree with me.
What about her father, for example?
She was estranged from her.
This is one of the greatest Piers Morgan moments ever.
What about her father, for example?
She was estranged from her mother and her father. She didn't.
Well, she wasn't
speak to the
estranged from
father.
them.
She was. She's earned 30 million, right? That is what she's worth. Her father, he came out a month ago saying he's basically on the dole, and he couldn't even afford a flight to Australia to see
Why
her.
would you say that in such a disparaging manner if that's the case?
It's very sad. It's very sad that obviously, she didn't have.
She had a tiny stroke or something like that. I'm not criticizing. I got Bell's palsy in my face a couple of years ago, and I was all like,
Not the family, right? I mean, this father sounded desperate.
Also, I got Bell's palsy, and my partner spent the next 6 months telling everyone that I got cerebral palsy. They're very different things.
Well, look, we can clear this up because I'm going to be joined now exclusively by Virginia Giuffre's father, Sky Roberts, who's giving
Well,
his
I
first.
just supported him.
Who's giving his first interview on camera about this. Mr. Roberts, thank you very much indeed.
All right, we're 70 people off the 1,000 across all platforms. Please, go and get the tablets from the other room. Whatever you need to do. Let's do this today, people. Let's do this.
For joining me on Uncensored, and my deepest sympathies to you and your entire family over what has happened to Virginia.
Thank you.
It's an awful tragedy, and it ends a life of tragedy in many ways for your daughter. First of all, tell me about your reaction when you heard that she'd taken her life.
Well, first of all, I couldn't even believe it. I mean, I started crying right away. I'm still crying. I can't believe that this is happening. It's impossible. And then for them to say that she committed suicide, there's no way that she did. Somebody got to her.
All right. So for me, that's all we're going to play from the father's side of this. That's all we need to hear. Okay. I need to find you. Here we go. Now, please do go and watch this full interview if you've not watched it. I'm not going to play through it all. But this next section, man, we are dialing up the crazy.
Started this investigation in Palm Beach, which then steamrolled into everything we now see many years later. And Jeffrey Epstein had people, investigators, showing up outside of their homes in black SUVs.
One moment.
To stay alive.
But who is the...
Here we go.
And
Okay. Like, honestly, just sit down, okay? Get a stiff drink ready or whatever vice you have, get it ready, because this is the moment in this interview where I'm like, oh wow, so Lady Victoria Harvey may be going on the food poisoning list.
I think when Epstein died, what did you make of what he said?
Well, I think he's a tragic figure. I mean, he lost a daughter, and he clearly feels some responsibility. I mean, that's his fatherhood. He should have been looking after his daughter. I believe him that he got the photograph before it was made public. I thought that was a sensational.
I don't think he really knew his
Let me just say one
very
thing
well.
without interrupting me.
You know.
I think that was a sensational disclosure,
Well, we don't.
and I believe him. I believe that she would send these sort of photographs, because at the time, to have met Prince Andrew was an astonishing achievement for her.
Was a composite.
But who made the composite? Just tell us who made it.
I can't tell you his
Well,
name.
that's ridiculous, you know.
But,
I mean, if you
yeah.
can't tell us, then you'll just have
Well,
no credibility.
the FBI has everything,
Victoria.
but
you know, if you
yeah, we
don't
had
say
this
what is the
argument about 2
motive,
years ago.
well, what is the motive? of the
Because I want this guy to stay alive.
But who is
because
the what
everyone
is the
dying
motive?
in this case?
What is the motive of the person who, in your view, falsified this photograph?
Oh, well, they were taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel. Taking down the royal family, weren't they?
Well, who were?
Maybe Israel.
It's the Israelis, man. It's the Israelis. Okay, the Israelis framed Epstein years ago. Okay, they snuck in an underage girl, got him to strip her down and get massaged. Okay, then years later. Hang on, let me get this. One second. Then years later, they've returned with a composite image to take down the royal family. What, mate? I mean, I'm not being funny. Could be. It could be. Isn't though. But could be, but isn't.
No.
Israel. Goodness me, come on. What do you mean, who knows?
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Also, at what point did the eyebrow color catch up with the head color? Like, it seems to go like beard, hair, eyebrows.
I mean, you're putting forward all these photographs. You've got no.
This is real.
No.
This is real, okay? I have got a photograph I've printed out on a table, old man.
Old man, listen to me. Listen to me, old man. I have photographs I have printed from the internet. It was the Jewish Israelis. Believe me. Okay, right?
Okay, right. Just so we're all on the same page. Hang on. Ron's broken something. Hang on. Was this worth it? I don't know if this was worth it. We got it. All right. Come on.
It's not. This is all false.
Okay, all right.
This
Well, maybe go
table
back to
is
bed.
full-
You're
Why would Israel be
70-something, right?
taking down the British royal family?
I mean, why not? I mean, do you really need it? Do you need a reason? Like, bored. Maybe Iran hadn't quite got as far with their nuclear plan, and they were like, "We've got all these missiles. What are we going to do with them? Frame Epstein and frame the royals? Okay."
Tell me that.
Well, you tell us. You're the one who
say that.
This is a fact.
You raised it that Israel is behind.
Calm down, all that. Look,
No, she did not.
this is a fact.
You raised it that Israel is
Calm
behind.
down, all that. Look, just
tell me to
chill.
calm down.
So
You're the person.
this-
Why would Israel be trying to
Israel
concoct a picture to shame the royal
I
family?
don't know because
Well, you just said it.
I'm not talking about those agencies right now. I made that clear. What I have,
You just said it was
but
Israel.
without talking about that, this is
we
hard
want
facts.
to talk about that. What is the genesis of your conspiracy
Tom,
theory?
just stop. This isn't a conspiracy. These people do not fit in that space. I've measured it. They do not.
They literally do fit in that space, right? So when this came out, we sat on the internet together and we recreated everything based off of her information. How tall her former lover, the man formerly known as Prince, was, how tall her friend was. None of it corresponded to what she said. My own examination, my own investigation into the image. It's just crazy. So we have we have the discrediting of Virginia's mind. We have the ex-husband. We have her being kept from her children. We have her being the poster child for taking down the elites. We have all of this slowly being chipped away at. Then she passes away. Then this stuff drops. So we now have a ex-partner of a royal family member who's deeply, deeply involved in this, destroying the legacy that made her. But luckily, Jesus Christ. Luckily, we all have brains, we have the internet, and we can see and piece together what is going on here. This is not a case of a woman who gave up and unalived herself. Could be the Israelis. But it makes no sense to think that this woman unalived herself, and it makes no sense to think that the timeline that we've been handed is anything short of fabricated. Everything from the posts on Instagram, how many days she had to live, right up to the photographs of her getting the farm feed. None of this is real. It's not faked. It is completely fabricated reality. Okay? And I'm just going to say it now. Whoever is at the center of all of this, they've had Virginia for months. Months and months and months. Why would you want to just do away with someone if you're part of the cabal? Oh my God, you'd be putting her in a freaking meat slicer and going down at a mill at a time, feet first. That is how messed up these people are. We're talking about people that would strap to chairs that are designed for female medical inspection. And these little kids are... This is the reality of the upper echelons. This is who we've to have our faith in as world leaders. This whole one man ruling a country, for example, like America. America just needs to be 50 states that rule themselves. And then eventually Texas will probably invade everyone and take over everything. But that's okay. They're Texas. They're okay. They're a bit lively. Okay. I mean, I haven't really thought about that, LG. I kind of hope so, because the alternative would be real bad. Yeah, Texas is awesome. I'm all for Texas. Okay, just so you know. But if you were 50 independent states 10 years from now, Texas is going to be like, let's make Texas a little bigger. Okay. Big shout out to the Texans. Okay. Trust me. If the troops ever land in America, Texas is going to deal with a bunch of stuff. Okay. They're good people. I do like the Texans. She was clearly like, this woman, this whole situation is nonsense. Now, the next show I do on Virginia is going to be with Paula, and we're going to bring the court cases and some of the other like things that kind of tie Meghan Markle and this bigger picture into this, because this is one of the most public assassinations that we've ever seen. The only other thing that I can say that's on par with this would be Princess Diana, right? Or you all seen that footage of JFK in the back of that car? Yeah, similar situation. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying, man? Honestly, I feel your freaking vibe. Because it doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. Why would you hang out with a man who's a convicted PDF file? I tell you what, right? Let's say, for example, you had to work with Jeffrey. All your family's money's tied in with his businesses. And once a year, you need to sit in a room at a business meeting and be like, all the arrows are going up. See you next year. That I could excuse Prince Andrew from. Okay, I could excuse him from that. But this is a guy that's going out and staying at this guy's house after the fact. It makes no sense as to why anyone would keep this man in their life after these charges. Also, yeah, make sure you guys go and watch this, and watch exactly what everyone's commenting about with Lady Harvey's body language, her mannerisms, everything. It is fascinating to watch. Interesting though, because are you trying to say? I'm just going to call you Fun. Die Fun. Doi Fun. Die Fun. Phonetically spell your name. It's going to annoy me. You're not trying to insinuate that there's anything other than the Epstein scandal that could possibly paint the royal family in a light that could connect them with the activities of the previous charges for the man on the island, right? Because I am. It's bonkers. And you know what? Savile is the Savile case. I think a lot of the time, people look at the Savile case, they look at the numbers, they go, how many people, how many victims, how long for, and that's enough. That's enough for people, right? They're like, 40 years. There she is. Paula, I was just talking about you. And I want to do a show with you about Virginia, talking about the court stuff that you mentioned about Meghan and our two different theories on it. But big shout out to Paula. We love her. Also, thanks for the show last night too, Paula. It was a great one. Really was. I'm sorry that I imagine it was the Nicaraguan weather that took you out the game. But yeah, because I will let you know. Don't worry. If I get back to, if I'm going back to the other location this evening, I'll make a plan with you maybe for tomorrow or over the weekend or the start of the week or something like that. I know you are. Do not worry. Do not worry. To be honest, Paul, it's one of those projects where I know that I don't even have to ask if you want to do it or not. I know you're in. So please go and pay attention to the Savile case. and don't listen to any of the facts about the children or the timelines. Focus entirely on the politicians, his friends, the people that surrounded him, all of this. Oh, look at that. I'm a diehard Paula stan. All right. We're stan each other. We're like two stags with our antlers. Like, no, I love you. No, I love you. All right. That was probably could have done a better job than that. Go and have a look, okay, at exactly who this man was surrounded with, the enablers, okay? I'm sick and tired of the Epsteins and the Savills and the monsters like that are the only heads that we see on Pike, metaphorically speaking. Because I'm telling you this right now, UK, America, Australia, wherever the hell you are all around the world, men, this is the era of policing our own. There can no longer be a society where that was a bit odd. I hope everything's okay. That you've enabled that. You have let this happen. I'm sorry. If there wasn't so many individuals out there preying on children, I wouldn't be so harsh on us all. This goes out to women too, obviously. It's quite a disproportionate amount of men compared to women in certain aspects of certain crimes, okay? And men, we need to seriously keep our eyes open. And that goes for women. Women are monsters too, just to be clear. But if we are not taking accountability for our friends, if we are not taking accountability for those that we have around us, we are facilitating nightmares like this repeating. And individuals like Virginia, who spent their life being handed from one place to another and eventually getting some form of justice, to end up discredited with this huge question mark about how her life came to an end. I don't think anyone believes that this woman would have taken her own life. I tell you something else. Let's say for a second she did take her own life. She's definitely leaving behind a video that says, I am doing this of my own free will. Okay? Like, she's going to be savvy enough to know, I think some people might question the narrative. You see what I'm saying? None of it makes sense. It's absolute nonsense fantasy. No, I said I was dead reacting to your editing, and then I linked the part that I thought was hilarious, like, dead, and then you post a reaction. I'm dead, laughing from your editing. That's what it was. Actually, raw path. Just so you know, you are a Muppet though, mate. Like, just so you know, yours is coming. Yours is coming. You're just very bottom of the very low down my list of things, man. But if you want to meet in a car park, you let me know. Happy to discuss anything in person, my G. Happy to discuss it. I'm just saying. But no, that was in reference to your editing and me laughing at it because it was a banger. It was it was beautiful. Beautiful. I can appreciate the editing. No. I said to have a discussion, raw path. Pin your ears back. Yeah. I'm not interested, bro. Like, I'll be honest. Like, you are so beneath me. It is laughable. So run along, peasant. Run along, and I will deal with you in my own time. But yeah, no. Don't think that I said dead in any other aspect of other than my reaction to the editing, which was quite funny. So yeah, just so we're clear. You Muppet. So anyway, I am interested in both sides of the story. Absolutely. Who the hell would you know what I'm up to? Raw path? Get your head out your own backside. Stop thinking that you've got an authority over anything before you learn harsh lessons, brother. Okay? harsh lessons of terms of service. But yeah, 100%. I'm well up for having a conversation with you, mate. And I mean that in a non-threatening way. So if you would like to have a conversation, we'll make it happen. 100%. 100%. So yeah, and I'm definitely a guy that takes both sides of the story. It's just sadly, both sides of the story are painting a picture that ain't good, bro. Ain't good at all. Why don't you go and write an email out and try and find someone that gives a rat's ass? How about that? That's probably a good idea. So for me, this case with Virginia, this cannot be seen as a closed case. This cannot be seen as a case that has stones that are to be left unturned. So, like I say, we will pick this back up next week. And we'll be diving into this with Paula. I've got two individuals who have worked and known, well, not worked, but we're planning to work with Virginia. And I know they want to say some things, you know. They really do. And I can't wait to give them the chance to do that. So I'm excited. You should all be excited. And we'll see what comes from it all. But please do not think for a second that Ron is some new to the block YouTuber. I've been here almost a decade. Like, you want to make little videos, I just get lawyers involved, bro. Like, I don't, like, why would I deal with the bottom feeders? It's just not a point. There's just no point in me dealing with that. You know, I'm too far beyond where half these people are for me to take notice. And that's not big-headed. That's just, you know, 6 children, life, you know, actual things in the real world. My children, my wonderful partner, my family, my awesome community, my friends, all of that. Those are who I listen to. So, yeah. And I tell you what, bald-headed maniacs who want to transition their community members, I'm telling you, bro, you think you're going to stand there and worry me? Dude, come on. This has been going on months. You don't know who I have in your places. You don't know who's part of your community that are mine. Taking on any recent new mods? Go and ask Baldy. Go and ask Baldy about his new team members. Because I'm telling you now, I take down cartels on the dark web that traffic individuals. You think some poxy little hocus pocus witchy poo tribe on on YouTube worries me? Bro, please. Okay. Anyway, you're all wonderful people. Thank you for being here. You're all awesome. There could be more shows today. I need to go and check on what's going on with the news and the headlines and things like this. I also may be traveling today. We got to 960. So we almost got there. But I thank you all for your time, coming and seeing me, coming and watching the shows, all of that. And I will always be blunt and real with all of you, even to a fault. Also, The Running Man is coming back out on Paramount. I really hope it's a TV show. I really hope it's a TV show and not a movie. And listen, thank you to Ron for your hard work. I want to say the community, the mods, all of you guys deserve the thanks. You guys are the glue that holds everything together. In the same way that Paula is the backbone of every single Thursday of my life. You guys hold all of this together. And Tracy, thank you, Tracy. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. Supporters, followers, thank you. Haters, trolls. And I'll see you on the next one. Love you guys. Peace.